to another edition of the Creators Checkup, the Creative Checkup, Creators Checkup. I go back and forth, I guess. Hope you guys are having an amazing Friday, that you've had a wonderful week, that you're ready to enjoy a weekend, but more importantly, to go into it with a fresh outlook on your creative journey. We already have some friends that are joining us live. If you are joining us as I start to get something ready, so I forgot to download something and it's freaking me out because I thought it was here and it's not here. But Pamela is already in the building, one of our 360 members. Love having her here. Feels a little darker in here. I closed the window. I think it's because it was just getting super hot and I still have my fan on. So I hope that doesn't mess you guys up and you hear all this noise. Actually, you know what? I'm going to go ahead and turn it off just because it gets super hot in this room. There's my light. So it gets super hot in here. So I'm turning lights off and stuff, trying to get everything situated. But now it feels like I'm in a dungeon. I'm looking at the lights. I'm like, oh, maybe I need that sunlight back. So we'll see how it goes. Anyway, once again, just wanted to say thank you for joining me. Today, we're going to be getting into a whole lot. I'm going to have to go quick, which is why I'm kind of sad that I didn't have everything ready. I thought this downloaded and didn't. So I'm going to get our slides together as fast as I can. But meanwhile, let me just let you know, as you just saw, I can post your comments on the screen here from Facebook, from LinkedIn, we found that out, and from YouTube. So if you're watching on any of those three things, now if you're watching on Twitter, I'm not able to do that, but you can still interact, obviously, and I'll look for your comments later. And I almost forgot that we are also now on LinkedIn. So we're getting our LinkedIn folks in now. They cannot see my screen as well. So that's kind of unfortunate. We can't get everybody exactly what we want them to have, but we try to go live as many places as possible so you can get access to this kind of information, which I'm going to show you right now as soon as our slides are up. Yep, still exporting. All right, so we'll get that going. But I can tell you, this is a doozy of a show or a live stream. So much stuff to share for you. I did not realize that our summer was going to start with such like a rush, which normally we think of the summer slowing down, but we did exactly the opposite. Number one, my music career is flying off the handle right now. I have three shows this weekend, one tonight, one Saturday night, one Sunday night. Saturday night, Sunday night, did I say that right? See how discombobulated I get. So musically speaking and creatively speaking, I've got a ton going on. And in God and Gigs, we have a ton going on, as Pamela and some of our other friends would tell you. All right, let's see if we got our slides up. I don't know why it's hanging up. All right, so I'm going to continue because I don't know why it's taking so long to get our slides today. Because as you know, I like to keep things moving. But let me just tell you without the slides. What we're going to go on with first is talking about our news and notes, which are the things that are happening. I just mentioned in God and Gigs, all of our events, our wrap up from our latest workshop, new podcast episodes that are coming up, new members that have joined God and Gigs. So if anything, I can just go into our screen share and I'll share my screen with you so you guys can see everything. If the slides don't work and it's just acting stupid, which it seems to be, I'll go ahead and share my screen so you can see all of that. So that'll be first, our news and notes, then our actual vital signs, which is usually the title of what I share. So you saw that it has to do with growing or just posting. And we're just going to get real. Like, are we just trying to grow platforms without really being honest about how long it takes? Whether that's what we even should be aiming for? Should we be trying to get more followers and all the social media metrics? Does that really matter? Is growth just what we're supposed to do? Or is there something that God may have that has nothing to do with the growth of our channels, and just try to figure that out? So we're going to take a brief but a very deep look into our motives behind our marketing. That's kind of where we're going with this, okay? And speaking of that, I'll be announcing our next podcast episode, which is going to be incredible. If you do not know who this gentleman is, I'll introduce him in a second. I'm trying to kind of hold off things for a little while. Then we'll get into, after our news and notes and our vital signs, we'll get into our lab work where I'll share exactly what's going on inside my business, the back end of a creator, faith-focused creator business that is going in all different kinds of directions. And so I'm trying to pull things together and practice what I preach. I'll try to be the example, not the excuse. So I'm going to give you the example of how I'm implementing systems from our very last workshop that we talked to our creator expert about. So she gave us some systems, and I'm going to try to implement them in real time and show you what I'm doing. So you see that this is not just talk, we're trying to walk the walk. Then we're going to get into our consult. We'll answer one question and we'll talk about a question. And the question we have is about marketing. The first thing you should do to get your marketing system or your campaigns off the ground. And again, we're going to talk about why marketing is so important. As a matter of fact, it's the focus of our month. In June, we're going to focus on marketing. So that's going to be our focus. And finally, we're getting to our prescriptions at the end. Yep, the motives behind the marketing. That's what we're going to talk about. All right, let's see if this slide came up because I am still looking. Oh, maybe no, that's our workshop from last week. That's why I'm getting a little confused because I'm not finding our things. I don't know. I just tried to download like 3 times and it doesn't seem to be coming up. You know what I'm going to do? Yeah, I'm not sure what's going on. I think it's like not. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead back into my back end here and just share my screen. Give me a second, y'all, because this is new, but it will still work. Just going to be a little different, and different is okay. All right, let's get the beautiful AI. Don't need to share the audio. Let me know if you guys can see that. We'll just have to make it work a little different. Okay, is everything looking okay? You guys can hear me? Oh, let me quickly tell you above me as we try to get things set up. This QR code, I always get confused. By the way, Tech Talk, I know you can't see this. This is just for the people who can watch the screen. Go over to YouTube if you can't. If you want to see what I'm talking about, you got to go to our YouTube. Check it in our bio. You can go to our YouTube and watch this directly, okay? So right up here. Good, you can see it. Perfect, Pamela. Thank you so much for that. This QR code is actually our donation link where you can go to godandgigs.com/give and you can help us by donating any amount. It does take money. I'm becoming more and more understanding that you have not because you asked not. And if I don't feel like the business of our God and Gigs platform is going well, it's probably because I'm not telling you guys what we have to offer and I'm not giving you guys the opportunity to sow into it. So I'm trying to get better at that. So that's what that QR code is for. You can scan it and you can donate to God and Gigs. But I think we're doing good now. I think we finally have our slides. So let me go ahead and let's see if I can do this. And we can keep it moving and make sure I didn't lose it. Yes. All right, cool. All right. So what we're going to do first is we're going to go to what I just explained, our news and notes and all that kind of stuff. I've already talked about it. So you can see there, news and notes. May Expert Workshop, version plan update, new podcast update, interviews, and upcoming June events. This is cool. I didn't realize I had the animations in this. All right. What they didn't tell us about building creator platforms is our vital signs. Lab work, getting systems in place, consult, the first thing you should do to market yourself better. And prescriptions, I mentioned what we're watching and reading. I just wanted to throw that in because that was in the newsletter. And what to do next, which I'll give you our next steps. All right. We're into our first segment. I love doing this. This is like my favorite thing. I need some music for this section. I need to have like some kind of like fanfare. What do you think, Pamela? Anybody else? Do we have any should we do like music when we introduce a new person to the God and Gigs membership? And remember, the membership is not just, Facebook. This is actually being a part of our app. I'm actually going to take a quick look and see if we have some music because I think they should have some music. This says dance pop. Let's see what we got here. It's a little too slow. Yeah, that's a little too slow. It needs to get quickly into some exciting stuff. And then this rock thing. We'll try this. Okay, you know what? I kind of like it. I kind of like the energy of oh my gosh, here we go. Yep. We got a new member. She's coming in the door. I'm so silly. Oh my gosh, the Pamela says I was surprised that I hadn't done that with my background. It's interesting. I never thought about doing it with my background before. All right, that's enough of the rock. Okay. So, but yeah, I've never really totally gotten into the music background of the live stream thing. Sometimes I think it can be distracting if you're not careful. So yeah, but Crystal Pearson is our newest member of the God and Gigs 360 app. Now, if you want to know what that is, you have to go to godandgigs.com/membership. She is the owner of Miss Chris Creations. She's been a friend of mine for years, 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 years. An incredible, amazing sister, incredible creative when it comes to her merch. She, as you can see, she creates merch for not just family reunions and high school unions and merch that's themed to the culture. So like she has such amazing stuff, man. So go check her out. I love the fact that we can kind of profile these creators that are in God and Gigs 360, show you their businesses, invite you to go check them out because that's what happens inside the 360 membership and the app. We don't just talk about, oh, we just want to be in here and just like share things. We actually promote each other, build each other up. You don't have to be isolated as a creative when you're in a group like ours. So go join Crystal, join Pamela. This app is amazing. And not only you get the app, but you also get, if you join at our top level, you get access to all of our courses. And if you join at our $10 level, you get access to all of our workshops. So there's just no way to lose. You can find a way that it works for you. And I really, really think that this is going to be a blessing to you. So Crystal, welcome to our membership. It's so awesome. If you're not watching, hopefully you're watching on replay and you see that we're celebrating you. All right, let's get to our last month's creator workshop. Y'all, this was so much fun. I mean, okay, first let's tell the story of Trisha. Pamela, I believe you were there. So you heard the story of how, and I don't want to fuss her. I don't want to make it sound like I'm fussing or teasing her. But this was the best story, so I had to tell it. Okay, so Pamela, Tricia, if you're watching, your entrance to our live stream or workshop, which was she was running a little late, and we were all kind of nervous and we were scared because we thought, oh my gosh, what happened? And we thought maybe something happened to her. She was driving. I didn't want to drive in texting. She came in and said she had been stuck in a road race, not a bicycle road race, not a running road race, a car rally, sports cars, race car flying around the streets in her route. And she ended up having to get inside the race to get to a workshop. Now, if that doesn't say commitment, I don't know what does. That somebody actually decided to get inside. There she is right over there. You see her on the right there. That was the most awesome entrance to hear that you had to get in a race to make it to the workshop and to teach us. And then when she did teach us, she was unflappable. She taught us all about the systems I'm about to talk about. So what I believe is a good idea for you is, once again, if you want to get access to this and you missed it, you can get access. You can go to godandgigs.com/membership, and the actual site that you're looking for is the resources, Creative Resources Center. It's the $10 option, $10 a month. So you don't have to ever pay for a ticket to get to a workshop like the one I'm about to talk about. So that is now in the archives. I am so, so, so happy that Trisha is also a member of our membership now. She's also a established creator expert. She's a creator expert that's inside our membership where people can talk to her and she can share more information about systems, about how you implement systems and how you don't get stuck in your own way when you're trying to build a brand, which goes perfectly with what we're talking about today. All right, this is moving on. We've got to move because I got a ton of things to talk about. The Creator's Purpose is still out on YouVersion. This is where we're at now. We're at 8. I'm actually, you know what? Now this is totally a rabbit trail. I'm really enjoying the animations. I'm not able to do the animations with the PDFs. So maybe this is God telling me I need to up my game and I need to do can't talk. Screen shares. Good gracious. Screen shares from now on. Because I really like the animations. It's fun. Okay. So we now have 839 readers on the Creator's Purpose. 562 have completed it. We are aiming for 1,000 to complete it. So as you can see, we got to share it with more people. So if you want to help us out with that, tell people about our YouVersion reading plan, and you want to send them to, I thought I had it once again. I don't have the banner that I thought I had. Oh, there it is. godandgigs.com/YouVersion. So if you send them there, they'll see both the Creator's Purpose, You'll see the Creator's Craft. And yes, we are working on a third one. If you are following me on social or our newsletter, I sent out a poll to pick the thumbnail for our next devotional. I'm working really hard. It's already edited, but we got to get the graphics done. And I really want to make sure the graphics fit what you guys will be looking for inside the app. So please, if you see that link for YouTube, the posts, the community post, I also put one in the Facebook group. I also put one in our 360 app, and I emailed it. So everybody has a chance to choose what you want for the thumbnail, and then we'll put it up and you will see which one was the winner. Okay, so godandgigs.com/uversion for that. All right, let's keep it moving. Recent podcast interviews. This was so cool. We now have part 2 of this interview with Gail Santil of God Arts. We Are God Arts. She's a local to South Florida, has an incredible platform. She does way more live events than I'm able to do. I've been trying to get to her live events for years, never get a chance to go because it was always in December and I had a Christmas show or something at church. But we finally connected. So now we have part 1 and part 2 of our interview about waiting for confidence, starting with obedience, and discipleship and creativity. I shared stuff with her I have not shared because her amazing, easygoing spirit and her love for God was just flowing, and we are so in alignment with what we share. This was like a perfect interview. So I don't usually promote my interviews with other people because I don't want you to feel like you always had to go see me somewhere else. But this was so value packed that I felt it was important. And I want you to meet Gail and connect with godarts.com or wearegodarts.com because it is such a aligned mission with our mission. So go check that out. All right, our 2 mini ideas. I'm almost done with news and notes. You can see how much stuff we have to talk about. This is why I want to tell you about the newsletter because I can't do this all in the live stream. This will be our next workshop. It is an open workshop. There is no registration needed for the 2 mini ideas workshop. So I will not be sending this link out because it's a Zoom on socials. I'll just be inviting people via the newsletter and via our membership. But I'm not going to send like this out to everybody because I don't want just random people joining the Zoom. So I'm only going to be, this is an invite only, but it's invite only without registration. You don't have to put in your email address. All you got to do is show up. This will be on Saturdays, about twice a month. We're going to help you get out of your way and stop being stuck behind too many ideas. It's pretty simple. TMI, too many ideas. How do we get accountability with just getting one idea out there? So that's coming up, I think, next Saturday. But again, if you want to attend this, you can't get a social media link. I'm not going to make it pretty. Just going to send it out one at a time. And as obviously, like I mentioned, we're going to kind of protect that just because we don't want to have people that aren't going to be actually interested in this stuff. So as I just mentioned, if you want to get into the newsletter to get all this information that I cannot seem to share all at one time, it's just too much. You want to go to godandgeeks.com/newsletter. Once again, a banner that I should have already had. You guys know this is the deal. I always come up with banners and then I realize I don't have it yet. And then I would go type it real fast and then we try to go as fast as we can. So godandgeeks.com/newsletter. If you are not already signed up for the newsletter, everything I just shared, where there's way too much to share in one live stream, is there. So the news and notes will not be 20 minutes long like it is. If you go to the newsletter, you'll get all this information and you don't have to worry about it. So you can go to godandgeeks.com/newsletter, join it so that you'll get all the information you need. All right. Okay. I think we're almost in the news and notes. Let me make sure. Let's see where we're at. Oh no, we gotta talk about this. This is important. This is incredible. So if you do not know the gentleman you're looking at right now, I'm just going to go ahead and just read this bio and then I'm going to tell you why you need to absolutely catch the next podcast of the God and Gig Show. Roberto Blake is a creator and entrepreneur and founder of the Awesome Creator Academy. You'll see why I'm reading this out loud in a second. The CEO of Create Awesome Media. He's a keynote speaker and a best-selling author. And he has created over 1,500 YouTube videos and has an audience of over 600,000 subscribers. Now, that is not the main reason why I am like, oh my gosh, Roberto Blake is going to be on our show. And we interviewed him. The reason why I'm so excited is because I don't think there is a better voice for the realism and the actual thing that creators like you and I are going through than Roberto Blake. He is the voice when it comes to the authenticity of what you are branding, what you're doing, what you're building, and how do you actually do it for a living. There's nobody I know who's doing this with more clarity than Roberto Blake. So whether you know him as a tech guru, a YouTube guru, or you've never heard of him, you need to catch this interview with me, with him and I on the God and Gigs show. So simple, go to godandgigs.com/podcast. Obviously, I'll be sending you the notes to this so you guys will all be able to get there. But please do not miss this interview. Please do not let this one go by because, like I said, this one is a game changer. I've just finished reading his first book. He's got another book coming out soon. Actually, it's probably not his first book, but it's the first in a series. And he's got another one coming out that I actually got a chance to be a beta reader for, which is insane for me to get a chance to read this before Roberto's finished. So this is going to come out on Monday. As busy as I am, we're going to find time to make sure that this is out on Monday. And please do not miss this episode, okay? There's no link for it yet, but it will probably be godandgigs.com/339. I think that's the number we're on. So please do not miss this with Roberto Blake. Those people who are on YouTube know the level that this man is walking on. And the fact that he stopped for 40 minutes to share with our show is an absolute blessing and incredible favor for us. All right. So godandgigs.com/podcast. Go ahead and subscribe now because Roberto Blake will be with us next week. All right. I think I'm almost done with news and notes. I think so because I always feel like I'm doing the most. So let me get back over here. See if we got one more thing. Nope, we're finally at vital signs. And you know I gotta do our stinger, right? We gotta do stinger. We gotta get some kind of like little production value here. So let's get ready for our vital signs after this brief brand reminder. All right, let's talk about this. What they didn't tell you about building a creative platform. So as I am sharing on this, I would love to hear your comments of the things that you were surprised of. Things that you were doing as you started your creative, sharing your creative work, whether it's YouTube, whether it was getting on social, whether it was doing live events, whether it was doing local events, whatever it was, I would love for you to share the thing that surprised you, the thing that you were like, wait, this is what you have to do? Wait, I have to do this? Wait, this is what they expect? So this is not just social media. It could be social media, but it could also be what happened when you arrived to a performance. What happened when you arrived to share what you had to share? What happened when you tried to get your first customer? What happened when you tried to get your first download or live stream or music sale? What happened on your first gig? Like, it doesn't have to be first. It's just like usually it's the first that's surprising, but it could be something else. I would love to know what surprised you. Here's why I'm asking you this, to share this. And this is for those of you who are watching on replay as well. All right, deep breath. The reason I'm asking you this is because I feel there is a lot of misinformation. I won't say fake news and all that stuff, but a lot of misinformation. Well, let's put it this way: missed information, MISSED, missed information when it comes to what it really takes to build a creator platform, whether you're selling, whether you're doing ministry, whatever that platform looks like. Okay? Whatever that platform looks like. And by the way, I just saw that Tasia is on TikTok, Tasia Veal. If you are still there, my friend, I will invite you on just to talk, even if I can't hear you on this other thing, because I just want to make sure I connect with Tasia. She's one of my favorite people in the world. So if you have that, now if you're watching and you can't comment, I get it. But I'm just going to give you some of my surprise things because I feel like people don't talk about this. Let's talk about this first one. And the picture kind of gives it away. Nobody talks about, and this is going to ruffle some feathers, the fact that most people do not make money as a creator. This is not that you can't. This is that most people don't. Did you follow me there? It's not that you can't be a successfully profitable creative. But I don't think people are honest when they talk about how devastating it can be to get into this business and realize, oh my gosh, if I don't learn the skill of earning money from this, I'm going to be just doing a super expensive hobby for a long time. Again, I'm going to be very careful because I'm going to say this afterward. There is a strategy that will require a long time sometimes of no growth. But the first thing that people might get wrong is they think, well, if I do X, Y, and Z and I follow this guru and I do this, well, then the money's just going to show up. That's the part I think we have been very, very unfair to many of our creators because we have not explained that part. You might go years. This is harsh. I hate saying this because it feels like I am going counter to both faith. It feels like I'm going counter to reasonable things. Like I should be telling you can make money right off the bat, right? I should be telling you that it's not as hard as it seems. It feels like me saying this is kind of like, which is why I don't need to say it, it's a harsh truth. But most people, creators, get into this and they're like, oh, I'm going to monetize my passion. This is really what's leading up to the Roberto Blake interview. Because Roberto's going to explain way better than I can why people don't get this. Why people want to be creatives more than ever before. I love this. Thank you, Anita. Anita says, absolutely correct. I'm going to pop you up there. We're not going to worry about doing this as a repurpose. Sometimes when I do this section, I try to make sure I don't respond to your comments. You might notice I kind of go right all the way past and then I stop and do comments. That's because if I do that, I can then go back, cut this part out, and then put it in the podcast for Monday. Well, this week, Roberto Blake's going to be on the podcast. No need for a live stream repurpose. So I get to be a lot more flowy with this. Okay, so respond to me. I'll pop your comments up right away. So I'm glad you think that though, because this is what I'm talking about. If we really wanted to be rich, most of us would not pick this job. We would not pick artistry. Let's just be honest. Again, it doesn't mean it can't be lucrative. It can't be monetized. It can't be better managed. I'm going to literally talk about systems right now where I'm trying to make more cash flow. I'll talk about how my podcasting and my music has combined to create income for me that does not fit the normal paradigm of I get sponsorships, I get brand deals. Like none of that fits. My traditional job is not traditional. It's ministry, but it's also creative, but it's also administrative, but it's also, so a lot of us are in this area that there's no box to fit in. So I don't like the fact that many of us think that our creative passion will be the driver of our income and our fulfillment. People don't tell you that. They're like, start it, just go do it. This is no. I'm like, people aren't honest about that because, again, I'm trying not to give away I'm trying not to give away the episode, nor our workshop, which will be with Dre Marshall. Dre, if you're there, I would love to introduce you. I was just sell your paintings. You can make yeah, right. Okay, I'm glad I'm not alone with this, Anita. Anita's another member of 360, our Creative Resource Center. So she's getting the next workshop and the last workshop. So I appreciate this. This is what I'm talking about. People say, follow your passion. Like, it's true, but it's a bad way to explain it. You should not be telling people, follow your passion, and somehow that makes it marketable. Is this too harsh? Because this is what we're going to talk about, Roberto. That's why you got to get the next episode. It's not marketable just to be gifted. Okay, there are tons of gifted people that are not marketable, and people don't want to buy their stuff, and then they don't make any money. Another thing that they did not tell us about Creative Platform is they didn't tell us how much structure, and I talked about this 2 weeks ago, how much structure you would need to build into your life in order to do this at any level, forget just professional, even at a hobbyist level, you got to build in some structure in your life because you just don't have enough hours in the day, especially if you got a 9 to 5. So, what you really have to think about is okay, where does this really fit in my life? Am I trying to, as I mentioned, grow this thing? For what reason? Our friend Dre Marshall, who's going to be doing the next workshop, I'll be explaining that more. But if you're in the 360 resources, you're going to get access to this new workshop. But we talked for like an hour and a half. Dre has worked with like he's had credits on the Spider-Man movies, like the Spider-Man movies, the animated Spider-Man movies. He's had credits with some of the biggest stars, and you've never heard of him. And he said he's just got burned out on the industry and he's moving into something else. And one of the things he mentioned is that the struggle to not just, I can't think of another word, prostitute your gift to make money is absolutely so hard because people say, like, Anita, just sell your paintings, but then they don't say, oh, well, to sell your paintings, you're going to have to paint things that people want to buy. But if that doesn't really fulfill you, what are you going to do to stay fulfilled while you're doing this job now, which is create content and pictures and music that people want, but they don't necessarily want what you like? So now do you go back to what you like, even though it's not marketable? And if you stick with a thing that's not marketable right now, how long can you keep that going without making money? You see, this is where I don't think we are very honest. Like, we talk about it, but we're kind of like, because again, it sounds anti-faith. It sounds anti-optimism. It's just, here's what's really happening. And this is why I'm so glad we're going to have this talk with Roberto and with Dre. When I tell you June, I don't know why I keep saying March. When I tell you June is going to be straight shooter month, June is straight shooter month. Okay. If you come into God and Gigs content this month, you're getting like raw facts. Like, you're getting no chaser. You're getting like, this is the real deal, because we're at the 6 month point of the year. And I don't want to spin our wheels with our best year ever, which is our framework for this year. I don't want to spend any more time this year not focusing on what really makes a difference in your life. So if it's, don't chase after growth for the sake of growth, but you're just like spinning your wheels, then I'm going to tell you that. If it's, yes, you should be growing, let's get serious about this, then let's do that. If it's, I want to be deeper in my faith, I don't necessarily want this to get in the way, I need to dig into the YouVersion devotionals more, the creator's purpose, the creator's craft, the creator's authority, and get deeper into his word and why I do what I do. Because there's too much drama, too much noise, too much craziness in the world. You just turn on the news and I turn it right back off because it's just like, I just can't. I'd rather focus on what I can control. And the things I can control is the thing that is right in my hand. Moses was given a staff. What's in your hand? If what's in your hand is a creative gift, all right, what is that creative gift supposed to do? Is it supposed to simply give you fulfillment, joy, worship, a way to worship? Is it supposed to give you an income? Is it like, what's in your hand and what is it supposed to do? That's really the idea here. I love Pamela's coming in here. Okay. All right. Pamela says, my shock moment was promoting an in-person workshop, doing all the things I thought I need to do to get the word out. Social media, word of mouth, flyers, and only 2 people showed up. Yo, I'm glad you got 2. I've had 0. I've had like where I'm standing there by myself. And on webinars, I've been like just me, recorded to myself. I've done like, I guess some of the early coffee shop things I did, like 1 person would show up, 2 people would show up. And it's like, why am I even doing this? So I love that you're being honest about that. This is exactly what we talk about inside the membership. How do we get past those moments, and are they necessary? And should you take every failure that feels like a failure and say, okay, like I've done in the past, well, this is supposed to stay small. I only want to reach 1. because maybe that's also a trap. Maybe we are supposed to reach more people, but we just have to temper our expectations, be more understanding that this will take 2, 3, 5, 10 years, and not follow all the gurus that say if you're not growing by 1,000%, then clearly you're doing something wrong. This is where we're going to hit right at the heart of your marketing, your promotion. Are you sure what you're aiming for? That's really why I want to have this conversation before we get to anything about marketing. Why are we trying to grow? Should we try to grow? What are the motives behind your marketing? Because if you don't know your motives and you're just trying to be the next influencer, well, then you're going to be sorely disappointed because influencers do influencer things. Marketers do marketer things. Artists do artist things, but artist things are oftentimes marketing things as well. You just have to figure out where am I specifically, what am I doing, and what am I being sold a bill of goods on, where it's not the way it's supposed to be. I'm just doing this because everybody else says to do it, but it's not actually fulfilling my purpose. That's what we're trying to do in the month of June. So I hope that was helpful. It was a great little talk for me because I'm dealing with this all the time. And thank you, Anita and Pamela, for weighing in. I love having our 360 members here. I think you guys will both enjoy the TMI workshop too, so I'll make sure you get that if you want to join us on next Saturday. All right, so let's go on though. I want to go ahead and get to where I want to get to. I want to get on to our lab work, which is another doozy because this is like where the rubber meets the road. So let's talk about our lab work in a second and how we're really working on implementing systems. All right. Okay, and it just says yes, please. Yes, I will send that to you. Don't worry, I will get that to you, um, because that's gonna be fun. That's like our open office hours. Like everybody, just like group therapy. Let's come in and talk about like what ideas we're stuck on. And so I'm really looking forward to the TMI workshops. Like that's become like one of my favorite things. And we only did one, but I'm already looking forward to the next one. All right, so let's talk about a little bit. Let's make this bigger so you guys can see it. Getting down to business, implementing new systems as a creator. Again, this is where the rubber meets the road. It may seem boring, and I'm taking that chance because creators, I'll be honest, the creating part is pretty easy compared to the systems part, which is usually not natural for us. If I said, hey, we're just going to do things on how to get creative again, how to find some time to paint, to compose, how to write, like if we're going to talk about all of that, like that's, I shouldn't say it's easy, but it's definitely not as out of our wheelhouse as this is. And this is why I said, okay, God, if I'm going to keep doing this, it has to be a lot more specific to what people really need versus what we just want to do to get clicks. This is what we need because this is what trips me up over and over again. Implementing systems that actually support my creative business. So you all know our friend LaShonda. LaShonda got a deal through a company that she is sponsoring called High Level. You may also know that I have a virtual assistant. So what I've done is I've been blessed enough because I'm a member of Bootstrap Biz Advice, which again, you guys can join. If you guys want to be dual citizens, you can be a member. We got plenty of members of Guiding Gigs who are members of Bootstrap. I'm one of them. So I am definitely like a dual member. I'd say, oh, how many memberships am I part of that I pay for? I guess, no, I don't pay for Podmatch. So it's one, two. I might pay for 3 memberships that I'm actually a member of because these are all great communities. So I'm going to pay to be a member of community. So never skimp on that, on being connected to people. So as I was saying, LaShonda offered this deal, 30 days to High Level. Now, High Level is not my kind of platform. It's very, very powerful, but it's also very oriented toward business. So I want to be honest, it also is kind of a competing product to some of the other ones that I use. But I said, you know what? My VA is really good at this system. I need to open my mind to new systems. So that's what we're doing. I am getting ready to do the next workshop. The next workshop you see, if the emails look different, it's because we're trying a whole nother system. And I'm letting my VA, I'm delegating it to her so that she can really be almost running it from the back end until she needs me. So I love this, Pamela. You're exactly right. It's the systems and knowing which one works for you. Everything doesn't work for everyone, 100%, which is why I got to start trying new ones. Because a lot of times, and this is just, part of it is learning, like I just said, learning from mistakes. Part of it was assuming that every tool I use should be the tool that everybody uses, but that's not the case. Maybe some of you will love Kit, some of you will not. Some of you will love, what's another one? StreamYard, which I'm using right now. Some of you will not. Some of you will love all the different financial things I use, like I recommend banks. You're not going to like every bank that I use. So it's never to be like a cookie cutter thing. It's just to say, hey, here's what I'm using. You might want to try this out. That's basically the idea behind testing new systems, new ways of marketing, like outside my comfort zone, because I've learned these on my own, but what got me here won't get me there. So if I want to grow, I'm going to have to be honest and be willing to break some habits that I assumed I would just have forever. Doesn't mean any of these companies are ever going to like go away and I'm going to like dismiss them. It just means that I might try a new way of doing things. So, and by the way, it's really cool that I can be an affiliate of different programs and there's no exclusivity. So I can say like I'm not an affiliate for high level at all, but if I was, I wouldn't feel like I have to stop talking about some of the other ones because you might like that tool better than the one that I'm trying because I'm at a different level. I am now moving from solopreneur to running several different brands, and I have to be a lot more integrated in terms of my professional connections and the way that I manage data. So, like I'm saying, it sounds very nerdy, but it's very necessary. And as I talked about 2 weeks ago, I think it was last week, you have to be more systematic the more talented you get, and the better you get, and the bigger you get, and the more systems you need, which again can make you feel like you're an automated kind of robot, but it also keeps you protected so you can get creative when you need to. So that's where I'm at with it. We have just sent out all this stuff. I'm also trying to automate and get better at my system for writing in terms of getting my editor involved. So I need to have a day that I write, a day that she edits, a day that I write, a day that she edits. Like that needs to be a system I need to work on. And remember, a system is not necessarily something where you need software. A system is just a process. What's the process of you doing something? What day do you decide to compose? What day do you decide to write? What day do you decide to, hey, I want to open up a studio? What do I need to do to that? Like, what's the timeline? These are project management type things that we need our business people, our creative business people. We need them. We need them to help us do this so that we don't get stuck in the weeds, right? I love this, Pamela. Thank you for that comment. And so I think we're doing pretty good. So it's 45. I mentioned Roberto Blake before, so I think we're good with that. Make sure, I feel like I'm forgetting something, but I'm not. Things moving so smoothly, I'm actually nervous. All right. Usually on this one, I don't do a stinger, so I'm just going to move ahead real quick. The console. So this is both my question and my answer to you guys in terms of the first thing you should do to get clarity on your marketing. Why are we talking about marketing again? Well, as I mentioned, the best year ever framework that we starts with spiritual alignment, then goes to clarity and your vision, then goes to community. You got to have a community. So once you have a vision, you got to share it with a community, not necessarily for money, just to share it. Then after that, you get into, was community. Then it was monetization, because you can't monetize if you don't have a community that can sow into. Then after that was time management systems. That was last week where we had the amazing workshop with Tricia. And now this month we're talking about marketing and messaging. And why do we pick this for the middle of the month, the middle of the year? Because this is the time that if you're going to shift anything, you need to know why. You need to know why would you change things now, what's worked, what hasn't worked. So it's great for mid-year, whatever you want to call it. And here's where I want to be like very, very honest. The first thing you should do to get clarity on your marketing runs a little bit counter to what we just talked about, because we just talked about tension. All right, let me know if you guys are with me, because I see a lot of you are joining in. I love having you guys join live. So if you can't comment, that's cool. I totally get it. You might be just watching. But if you can comment, remember, I can pull your comments up here. So I would love to have you, because the console is really supposed to be a dialogue. So if you can comment, Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, I don't think you guys can comment on the actual page. But Twitter and I'm sorry, Facebook, YouTube, LinkedIn, you guys can comment. I can pull up your comments. I should be able to see them. All right. Oh, by the way, let me see here before I say that. It says Facebook pages, yes. Twitter, no. Instagram live or not. Okay, so yeah, so it says which ones you can post on, which ones you can't. So if you can't comment, I would love to hear your comments on this. But the first thing you need to do, in my estimation, is get clear on who you are, why you want to serve people, and what makes you different or special. If you do not get clear on what makes you special, why people should listen and care to what you're saying or sharing, you're going to just be stuck in sharing, but never actually reaching the people you're called to reach. Because marketing is first messaging. If you don't get a message, there's nothing to send. Market is the spreading of the message, but the message is the message. If no one heard a message, it would still be a message. For me, it would be, what's a great example? For me, it would be husband, father, creative, forgiven, right? That's what I believe in. It's my roles, my most important roles. Husband, father, creative, forgiven. Whether I share that with anybody else, it's a message to myself. Does everybody follow me? I'm preaching that message to myself. I'm a husband first. I'm a father first. I'm a creative by role and by my gifting, and I am forgiven, which is my relationship with Jesus. Those four things I'm constantly telling myself I operate out of this. So that message, whether anyone else hears it, is my message. Now, if I decide to market it, it must be effectively shared so that that message resonates with other people. So the marketing cannot happen without the message being clarified. So one thing I see a lot of people do, and this is a great exercise, I did this once, is to ask other people, when you think of me, what's the first thing that comes to mind? And some people might give you a funny answer, but hopefully you send this like in an email. Actually, I did this through an email situation with Pat Flynn. Pat Flynn shared this great like email template where he was pretending to be the person emailing the other person. And he would say like, hey, this is Pat Flynn. I'm writing on behalf of blank, 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 blank. I don't have your email address, so they sent this for me. You know what I mean? So it's like this like fun little thing like, hey, you know, I'm really writing for this person. I'm ghostwriting in their account. So you basically say somebody in your life wants to know what you think about their superpower. And so he says, send that to 5 or 6 or 8 people that you trust, that's not going to be weird and spammy, and just ask them, what do you see in me that's unique? What do you see in me, the way that I do things? What's my secret sauce? And find out from them, the people you trust and that they honor you, find out from them. So I love this. Anita says, still trying to figure that out. I believe you're talking about figure out like what your gift, not your gifting, but your kind of unique proposition is. What's the thing that makes you different? Like, that's why you got to talk to other people a lot of times. And you got to get those honest answers, and don't take the first answer at face value, because some people might be like, I love you. I love you. And it's like, that's not helpful. I need, why do you love what I do? What makes it special? Because if you can't figure this out for yourself and you have a message, but you don't have like a way to market it, you're going to be stuck in your wheels, like constantly like picking up the latest byline from somebody or tagline. Well, you know what I'm trying to say. The tagline from somebody else's business. See, that sounds cool, but it's not going to help you. It's not going to help you get what you need to get out of your marketing. So Anita, we can talk about that more in our membership, and you can comment on this, and we can help you brainstorm what you need to build this kind of, and I remember we talked about this even in our call, Anita, and let me just kind of a segue, kind of go on a tangent for a little bit, because I don't want to make this just about Anita and I, but when we had your coaching call, When you said like, oh, well, artists within, and it was sounding cool or whatever, the reason that you thought about it, like digging more into that this summer, it's perfect. Like, why does that resonate? Does it resonate with anybody else? Is anybody else thinking of the artist within? I am. So it resonates with me, but I'm not necessarily the person that will come into your particular studio. So does it resonate with those kind of people? So that's where you want to get down. Like, all right, for the summer, I'm going to work this. But at this point, I'm going to stop. I'm going to just work on why do people need to follow me or know me? What do I offer that they are interested in? Why would they be interested? So this is where I think we are at the consult. The first thing is getting clarity on that why and the message that you can share that's unique to you, right? Once you know it's unique to you, obviously you can test it, share it. So you Google ChatGPT pulls up something that's exactly the same. It might. Doesn't mean you shouldn't do it because your story's still different, but you might need to change it up a little bit. So that's what we have there. All right. So this has been a really good consult. I love it. Let's get, like I said, no delay in talking about our prescriptions. And I decided to keep it simple this week, because, hey, there's a million things that I'm doing. I don't want to tell you, I told you to do like a million different things. This is an easy one. Join the newsletter. If you're in Guiding Gigs 360, technically you're already a member of the newsletter, because you're getting like updates from the membership as well. But it's good to make sure that you're on. And for those of you who are not, this is not just a play to get on my email list. It's literally because what I just did for the first 30 minutes. The first 30 minutes was all announcements and so much going on that I can't tell you. And I feel like I'm using up a lot of time just going through the announcements. And the Creative Checkup is not just announcements, but it is also, here's what you need to do right now. Here's the thing that we're doing right now. Jump on it. I'll give you a perfect example. I'm about to email everyone a notice that I got that one of the companies that we are partnering with or affiliates of is offering a free month in their tiered subscription. Okay, I'll go ahead and tell you what it is. It's Skip and their grant funding. They'll do it today. They're going to give away probably about $5,000, $6,000, $7,000, $8,000. And you can join their Skip membership tier, Skip Plus, for 30 days free. They don't normally do that. They offered it to us. They're partnering with them. So there's no time to kind of like, get all that out on social because you might miss it. So I'm going to send it to my email newsletter. And just say, hey, go get this. So that's the point of being part of a newsletter, because a newsletter gives you access to that stuff where we immediately can get through the information that matters. Plus, I'm changing up the newsletter. I'm trying to be more personable, try to share some of my personal stories, keep a little bit behind the scenes of stuff, what's going on in my life. I've been very honest and vulnerable about times that I've been a little bit off mentally, things like that have been happening in my life. So I'm going to be doing that. So I'm just curious, for those who are in the last 5 minutes, who is already on the newsletter? Put a 1 if you're already subscribed. I know Anita is already subscribed because she's part of Guiding Gigs. I know that Pamela's already subscribed because she's part of Guiding Gigs 360. Anyone else that's already subscribed, put a 1 in the chat. If you are not already subscribed to the newsletter, put a 2 in the chat. And here's where we'll fix that, because I think I can also do it in a QR code or something like that. Obviously, you can just go to guidegigs.com/newsletter. That's the easiest way probably to do it. But just in case. So give it a 1 if you are already subscribed, and a 2 if you are not subscribed. Okay, so I'm just curious who's subscribed and who's not subscribed to the Creative Checkup newsletter. I would love to see that. And then we'll get you obviously signed up. You guys can do it right away. But let's see here. Pamela says, great news. Thank you. Thank you so much. This is super cool, right? Are you talking about the Skip thing? If you're talking about the Skip thing, that is super cool. And the link is so long. I put it in. I just didn't have time to make a URL. So, and it's only going to be open for 3 days. So, I did not make a link at all. So hopefully you guys can jump on that right away. If you have not joined the Skip, there's a free tier, but this is the tier where you can get AI help with writing grants. They actually do like a grant, what's it called? A vault where you can keep all of your grant applications together and all of like your best answers. So this is again, this is something that will bless you. But again, I can't share the link because it's super long. So the only way I can share the link is quickly social media, which is not the greatest, or the best way, send it through email. And again, I encourage all of you should have your email. Like I said, I'm trying out different things. I've always recommended Kit. If you don't use Kit, you can use something else, but you should have an email list going. All right. So Pamela says one. She is absolutely signed up for the newsletter, which is super cool. All right. I'm going to wait for you guys just a little longer to make sure if there's anybody else that's going to answer, whether you are in the newsletter or not. I'm going to go ahead and make this a little bigger, make sure you guys can see that. Okay. But we're going to start wrapping up because, as I mentioned, I got another event I got to get to. And I want to make sure that you know, again, coming up very soon on Monday will be this incredible podcast episode with Roberto Blake. If you have not looked him up, look up robertoblake.com. She was talking about Skip. Okay, got you. Yes, Skip. Okay, yeah. This is great news for Skip. Yeah, definitely check that out. It's in the 360 app as well as the Facebook group. And I posted it Facebook group and the Skip app. And I haven't emailed everybody yet, but I will email everyone as soon as I can. Because, again, because it expires Sunday. This is kind of like a test run that they're doing to see if people will sign up. And of course, there's a $1,000 giveaway this week. They've changed their thing up a little bit. They don't give away $1,000 automatically. Like you have to be more active in their platform to get the $1,000 possibility of winning the grant for $1,000. So they're kind of making it more tiered where people actually have to use the service to get, because it gets expensive really fast. And I think we're about done. We're right at 2:00. So hopefully you guys will join me on Monday for our new episode. Like I said, with Roberto Blake, which is going to be a game changer for a lot of us. Okay. Also, as I mentioned, make sure you check out the Creator's Purpose on YouVersion. That's where you go, gottageeks.com/YouVersion. So lots of other things that you can go check out, like I mentioned. And of course, there's always the membership. So I know I said there's only one thing you need to do, it's in the newsletter. I'm just reminding you of all the other things we covered. And if you have any other suggestions for our creative checkups, I was going to make them shorter during the summer. Maybe not. Like today, I probably should have made it shorter, but just felt like everybody was chilling out and hanging with us. So we decided to keep it going. But this was an amazing session. Continue to have a great weekend. Continue to become the creative that you were created to be. Look out once again for the podcast coming out on Monday with Roberto Blake. And the workshop that we'll be doing very soon, we'll get that out via our newsletter. So make sure you're connected with us there. But until next time, be blessed. And I'll see you next week, everybody. Take care.